Hello, hello. I am recording today for day 261, day 262, and day 263 of my 365-day raw suspending disbelief journey. This is for January 8th, 9th, and 10th of 2025. This week got hectic. So I was very tired and I let myself go to bed and do a catch-up episode for a couple of nights. So this is I feel like we all just sort of crashed on Wednesday after Tuesday night sports and being up later and whatever just because of that. And um, I did manage to catch up on all my notifications finally online on Wednesday. And I just really started to notice like I'm going into, or now am in, I was going into, and now I'm in the slowest energy part of my cycle, and I really am feeling it coming back in to work after 2 weeks off when I am on this like low energy. So it is I'm definitely not necessarily feeling overwhelmed, but trying to be really cautious that I don't burn myself out, because my energy is always just slower at this time, and right now I'm expecting like almost more of myself in a lot of ways, just because I'm trying to play catch up online and I am adding in all of these extra activities with the kids, and it's just a lot. So, really just needing to suspend disbelief and have a little bit of patience with myself, and be ready to just switch off when it's time to switch off. And um, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I have learned that skill, because otherwise, if I was trying to actually wrap everything up before I finished for the day every day, I would never be done. And I would burn out very, very quickly. So just honoring my energy, trying to take it as easy as I can, as slow as I can, and still, check off the most important tasks and still get the kids to all their activities and everything. And really, it just sort of found, I was hoping that while the kids were in their activities, like I could bring my laptop with me and get some work done, things like that. And it's not that that's impossible. But again, similar to how I was feeling at the beginning of the week, it's just sort of like, I really am going to have to um, make more effective use of my time and my energy and everything in order to manage that. There are small windows of time where I can actually focus and work. So I need to have it like a very clear, pre-prepared list of here's the things I'm going to work on during those windows, so that when I have them, I can quickly knock out a couple of things and be able to be done. The things I was hoping to do in the time windows I thought I would have were too big of tasks, and I couldn't really fully get into them before it was time to be done. So it was like, I didn't feel like I got anywhere. I kind of just felt like it was a waste of time, a waste of energy to bring all my stuff and try to get set up and try to get going and all of that. So going to try again. It's all learning. It's all good. Um, and definitely, especially for our Fridays, I have some of the Fridays, my oldest is in swimming, and the other two, I tried putting them in a couple of different things on Friday at the same time. And first of all, the program was written out wrong, I guess, and the times were off for the one that I put my son into. And so he came in not at the beginning, first of all, and then it was over before the end of the time that I needed him to be occupied for. And then he actually was in and out of there and interrupting me. I just was sitting out in the lobby with my laptop, and he was like, I want to go and do this and I want to go and do that. And the program that he was in was sort of just like a space for them to come and hang out. And it wasn't really very ideal for what my son needs. So I'm going to have to sort of revisit that, or possibly bring him a device that he can be occupied with for an hour while my oldest is in swimming and the youngest is occupied in her thing. And that might make it so that I actually get like a 35-40 minute window where nobody is needing my attention for a little bit and I can get something done. So hoping for that. And if not, after, another try or two, I may just decide that I'm just going to sit and watch and, and just let that be. I've sat and watched my kids' stuff lots over the years, and the only reason that I thought, oh, I will use this hour is because we are doing so many things, and I thought this would be a really good hour where I could get these things done. And if I'm not going to be using it for that, I probably won't put either of the two younger kids in anything, and we'll all just watch the older one swim, and that'll be that. And that's okay too, if that's what happens. And as far as business goes, I really definitely was feeling again like this, I'm in this low energy and just, and, the fact that I'm coming up at this point of my energy tied in with coming back to work this week and getting the kids back to school this week and getting back on schedule, and then adding in these extracurriculars, all coming at the end of a 2-week period of me having my kids 24/7 kind of thing, or like that, them always being with me and not with dad for a couple weeks. Just, I was hitting the end of my rope by the end of today. I was like, oh my gosh, to the point where it got laughable. But earlier in the day, I was like, I'm so bitchy. I need a nap. I just need to stop and turn everything off because everything seems to be going wrong. And, when you start getting in that energy, it's a clear sign to just stop and reset in some way or another. And a nap is a really good way, right? A lot of the time that kind of energy is happening when we're tired, when we're overdrawn, when we've done too much and our energy is just like maxed right out. And I definitely had not been getting up early for self-care on this first week back to school when we've been sleeping in later every day over the holidays, and was feeling the lack of that self-care and that quiet time, especially with evenings being so crazy that the kids weren't in bed early enough for me to have any quiet in the evenings. And by the time they were in bed, I was just crashing because I was exhausted. So I did manage to have a bath one night, and just unwind a little bit. But beyond that, it was not quite enough. And normally on a low energy week, I give myself, like, I plan for sleeping later and not getting up earlier and all of that, but not quite to the extent that I did it. I slept until I had to get them up instead of getting up at even just, that 15 minutes earlier just to have a little bit of quiet. So all things combined, it just ended up being one of those weeks. And really nothing was awful. Really nothing was, the end of the world or so bad or anything like that. It was just, I was so damn tired, and I was really not in the best mood by the end of the week. And I was starting to have tech problems and this and that. And it was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm turning it off. I'm going to go have a nap. And I did. And, nothing was magically fixed when I came back, but at least I was in a better place about it and more able to face it all and handle it all and all of that. So, trusting that there was a good reason why why I was guided not to do anything over the holidays, nothing for work, because it feels like, why the heck did I do that when I'm coming back in this energy? But maybe it's just to really put it into perspective for me, how many hours I am actually putting in on my business versus family hours versus, the amount of time that I'm desiring to put into the kids for their extracurriculars, and that they're absolutely worthy of having that time for those extracurriculars and so on. So, definitely open to playing with that and figuring out a schedule that works better for us. It's kind of my thing. It's kind of what I do. So I'll get there. And it's just really hard to brain at this point and come up with better solutions. So hopefully over the weekend while they're with their dad, I will be able to get that quiet enough time that I'm able to get clear on what's needed and what will work better for us. And even if it's just a little bit, tweak a little bit here and there for now, and then um, go forward from there. I know that sometimes it takes a few tries before we get a good schedule nailed down. And, I also added to my calendar reading in my son's class once or twice a week going forward. And I had actually signed up for that before the break as well. And both times something had happened. One of them, my youngest didn't end up having school for whatever reason, and I had to cancel that one. And then the other one, he was sick, and so I hadn't done either of those. So this week was my first one back for that. And it's just that reading with him and his classmates time falls in my quiet no Casey time in the morning when she's in pre-K. And so even that couple of hours that I get to work every day, usually during the week when they're in school, is gone on those days. So yeah, I'll really be taking a look at, I know that I absolutely want to be volunteering in his class or in any of my kids' schools whenever possible. And it's something I haven't done for a couple of years and really want to get back to doing. And that now I have the ability to do now that Casey's in school part-time. And, I know that these are my priorities. I know that I want to be bringing my kids to their sports and enjoying watching them. And I know that I want to be reading in his class. I know that I want to be showing up at the schools. I know that I want to be participating in their lives. And I have not been doing that for the last couple of years. And that's been okay because that's just been where I've been at as far as life goes. And especially with having Casey at home. But being ready for those changes just means that it's time for me to start looking at how do I make this all work and how many hours am I actually working and how can I cut that back and still have the same results that I'm having and so on and so forth. So suspending disbelief that it's all perfect and it's all going to work out exactly as it's supposed to. And my success is inevitable whether I work less hours or not. So let's go after I get some sleep. That is what I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.